welcome to my very first case study. Today, me and my friends decided to buckle up and drive 2 hours and 30 minutes away from home over to Cincinnati, Ohio for a day to visit Jungle Jim's International Market. Jungle Jim's is self-described as a unique shopping experience. Pretty much everywhere you turn, there's some over-the-top dramatic sign or imaging or storytelling happening around your shopping experience. So let's go ahead and take a look at everything going on. We're at the Jungle Jim's now. I'm getting very Rainforest Cafe vibes. Let's start our adventure. So we didn't know this at the time, but there are multiple entrances to Jungle Jim's. So we entered through a door called the Giraffe Door, which led straight to a toy section and more of the family-friendly area. Everything was very over the top. You can see here even the Graeter's ice cream. There's like a giant ice cream cone outside. Directionally, we were all very confused, so I'll go ahead and explain how I felt in that situation. We are pretty much confused. So there's no map for this experience. It's just a walkthrough, and there's multiple doors. So the vibe I'm getting is that we are in the jungle and we are lost and you have to find your own way. So you can start your experience from pretty much any entrance. Notice in the background, they even turned the vent into a pink elephant. I don't know why I was so obsessed with the pink elephant vent, but I also recorded it later on. So back to Jungle Jim's. As I said earlier, the purpose of this attraction is to provide a unique shopping experience, and I believe that the audience for that shopping experience is families and people of all ages. I saw a large range of number of guests here. Some people were coming in a family, some people were coming alone. We came as a group of friends, so really it's open to all individuals. When I was recording footage and looking around, I couldn't really find any stories happening anywhere. There was an example that I'll show you later on, but most areas were just very individualized and based around the genre of either the food they're serving or the location that the food was from. There's no consistent characters present throughout the whole experience besides a magic fairy that appears when there's a deal on food. There's no overarching plot. It's mostly that you're within this international market, you can choose which aisle you want to go into, and from there you'll see some very over-the-top theming for that sort of food range. This doesn't mean that there wasn't plenty of IP being used to advertise what they're selling. I saw a lot of M&Ms, I saw a lot of cereal mascots, a lot of very oddball characters just around the market. We're gonna pause right here so I can talk a little bit about design and where that design is present within Jungle Jim's. So there's 3 forms of design that we're gonna talk about, and that's aspirational, popular, and medium design. We're gonna start with aspirational design. Aspirational design is very popular within theme parks. Essentially, its goal is to put a guest in a position that they would not normally be able to experience. They want their guests to achieve big dreams and goals. In the case for Jungle Jim's, there's not a lot of examples of aspirational designs because they don't put you in a position of a character or like in a situation where you're achieving some sort of task. But as an example, let's say you were a jungle explorer. So if there was an attraction based on a jungle explorer, what would that jungle explorer do? What would their task be? What would their mission be? What would they feel and what would they eat? That is sort of what aspirational design is. Next, there is popular design, and popular design's goal is not to achieve a dream, but rather see what the general guest likes and surround them with that sort of popular design and popularity. And because this design is based off well-liked things, you will commonly see IP be brought in to achieve that. This is kind of interesting because for me, popular design is kind of a gray area because not every IP strikes a chord with someone, but their goal is to find an IP that does and surround that guest within that experience. So there's not a whole lot of popular design in Jungle Jim's, in my opinion, because the M&Ms are fun, but it's not going to strike a chord of too much familiarity and popularity within me. The one IP that I did see being used was Robin Hood, because I think that is an open property. They had that over in the English and tea section. It's tricky. I'm not much of a fan of Robin Hood, so for me it didn't strike a chord, but some people will be able to recognize that, and it's seen as popular design. Finally, there is medium design, and this is sort of where Jungle Gyms excels. Medium design in attractions is basically proving yourself to be the best for that medium. So because Jungle Gyms offers a different experience than other international markets, it excels in that genre. It's better than the other superstores, the other grocery stores. It's much more unique than any other Target or Walmart, so it excels in that media of being a store. I will say that I think most attractions are based off using all three types of designs, but there wasn't any examples of aspirational design in Jungle Gyms, just popular and medium design. So how does Jungle Gyms make money? Obviously, it is a giant store, so a lot of the revenue comes from selling whatever product they have. But what I find especially interesting is that they offer a lot of classes. According to their website, they usually have around 6 classes happening per week. These classes are either hands-on demonstrations or cooking classes. Their most recent event was a Valentine's steak dinner event that went for $175 per person. Additionally, they sell Jungle Gyms merchandise on their website and in store. And they even have an in-house podcast to advertise all of these events. At this point, we've been in the international section of this market for about an hour and a half. And honestly, nothing made any sense to me. I was hungry, I was confused, and most importantly, I was lost. But then, something amazing happened. Oh, we found a map! Oh my god! Can we even reach it?
You got the map.
We got the map. This is the one thing I needed to keep me going, to do that final push around this market. I kept saying that this experience would be so much better if there was just a map. And there was. There was a map this entire time. Oh, I'm stuck. Okay. So
That's
now
the
Morgan
international
can
department
lead
map.
us. Oh. Well, we don't need any other section, I'm sure. There's fish! After we checked out the fish tank, we saw a few of the IP that I was talking about earlier. So first there was Robin Hood, who said Sire Jungle Gyms was allowing him to stay in this corner of the store. Underneath his display, he was selling tea and English goods. Then there was a boat party which had a cereal band playing on top. Not much story going on, besides that Jungle Gym was driving the boat and they were having a good time. Just like those cereal mascots, we were all three having a pretty great time. What I find especially incredible is that we all three made out spending under $100 each, which was amazing because at one point I think I had over $200 of food in my cart. After we shared our hauls in the car, we got some food and we headed out for the day. And that concludes our adventure to Jungle Gyms. Overall, it was really fun going into this experience and sort of viewing it in a different light, sort of viewing it from an educational standpoint based on different forms of design and different forms of storytelling. I would say, however, that sometimes the place seemed a little disorganized. We were a little confused, and there was no maps at any of the respected entrances, so we kind of had to wiggle our way into the middle of the store before we finally got a map, which was a little confusing. Sometimes they had surplus food in random aisles and locations that made it difficult to walk around, but other than that, it was a very fun experience. I got to try a lot of different foods, and I got to hang out with my friends for a day in Cincinnati, which is always fun. I tried to go for a different type of attraction, something that isn't a theme park or a themed restaurant, something really out of the ordinary. So I hope that this fits perfectly for this class, even though it's kind of a weird one. And thank you for watching.